What's up guys, Samthedingus today, tutorial on the backflip once again, but today it's on how to overcome the fear. So like I've said, backflips are really easy to do, but the fear itself for just getting started doing it is really strong. Here are some methods that you can use to overcome your fear for the backflip and finally get it down so you can get to work on all those variations. Okay, so method one. This is really simple. This is probably the most practical, is find something really soft. If you can find a mattress, that should work good. Depending on who you are, how comfortable you feel, you can do backflips onto the mattress. If you don't have a mattress available, like I didn't at first, I just put down a lot of blankets and pillows, but find something soft. Sand or water might do as well, but a mattress is a good start. On top of that, I think the safest option is probably to go to a gymnastics gym or some sort of place where they have a foam pit and people who can help you. So a foam pit is probably the safest way you can learn any flip. A trampoline is also good, but foam pit is what real ground feels like instead of just bouncing. So, and if you have instructors there, they can give you really good tips that can help you improve it if you're not landing it good, or just general ways that you can also overcome fear within that facility. But they can also spot you, and this is where you can also use a friend if you don't have a gym available, is you can just have your friends' backs like this, and you put your hand on the lower back, and they can actually help you rotate around. Okay, so now this is method number 3, which is by far the lengthiest method, but I will say it's also foolproof. And you can fall back on it when things go bad, and I'll go into that once we're farther along the tutorial. So, this method is by starting off with a macaco. What a macaco is, it's similar to a back handspring, except it's not quite as vertical, at least at first not. And you go back on one hand, turn like this. So this is a very quick tutorial of it. You sit back like this, or you can stand up, and this one hand goes back whichever way you're facing. It goes fingers in towards the opposite direction of the hand you're putting down. So for me, that's like this, down, and you just go back on this hand, and then you try to go up and over. Well, I failed trying to do it slowly, but it goes back, up and over and around. And this is perfect because this can also be really scary at first. I remember it was scary for me to go straight back, but this has some really good progression. It's the easiest progression of any flip, is that you can really just start off going over the side. You can start off when you're just a beginner, going straight over the side, not even really worrying about it like this. Just, it'll look kind of like a weird cartwheel at first, and going back. And it'll probably look like that for a long time, but eventually you can work it up more and more straight over, so it starts to become a little bit more like a back handspring. My technique for that is really bad because I basically just do a weird back handspring, but once you get the macaco really straight and really good and you know it's great, then you can work on step 2 of the foolproof method, which is the back handspring part of it. So back handspring is about as close as you can get to a backflip without being a backflip. This is scarier in my opinion than a macaco, so I would recommend you use the same exact method for this. So just go on 2 hands now and just go over the side and just straighten out and straighten out. This method does take a long time depending on how comfortable you are, but it took me a very long time to get comfortable using this method. But I promise if you stick with it, it'll work out. The more and more you do that, you'll just start getting comfortable, and then seemingly out of nowhere, you might be able to go straight backward. Upon doing that, I should also mention that if you have good handstand strength, wrist flexibility would be very important for this because it can jam your wrists up from landing on them really hard. Alright, so now for the part that might be the scariest for some people. It was for me sometimes. But what also might be the easiest is the transition from back handspring to backflip. So once you have that back handspring straight, like completely straight backward, very comfortable 100% of the time. Rest a few days and make sure that when you come back, you can still do it within maybe 2 or 3 tries. You have to like do some mind tricks in your brain to do this, but you basically have to do a backflip without telling yourself to. When I say that, I don't mean just be reckless, because that's how you get hurt, but the way I do it, if I say, okay, stop now and commit to a backflip. I'll be too scared because I'll think it's a backflip. So what I do is I just do a back handspring and I just tweak one little thing. So I might do that back handspring I just did there and then just think more about whipping really hard. So I have a progression video where you can see this part of the plan come through. I'll link that right here. It'll pause this video, so just go check it out real quick and see what I mean. I'll try to recreate it if you don't feel like going over to watching that. So the best part about that method, which you just saw me do there, is that it's perfect for if you get scared again. So some people are like, I learned my backflip and then I lost it because I took a few break days after this. Using this method, you can get it back just as easily as you did the first time, if not easier, because when they don't have anything to fall back on, they have to go 100% for the backflip. But what I did for a couple weeks after I did it is I would just macaco, 1, 2 back handsprings, backflip. Method number 1 is just to find something soft that you can practice on. Method number 2, go to a facility where you can be taught and an even safer environment. That's the best method in my opinion. Method 3, which is the method I used in conjunction with both of the other two a little bit, is doing the macaco until you're straighter and then back handspring and then just go higher until it's a backflip. Once you can do this, which is the most basic thing you can do, it's really easy to start tacking on variations. Let me show you some of the things that you can do once you're not scared of going over backwards. That's all. Next tutorial will be advanced techniques on the backflip, so you can move on to more advanced variations than what I showed you. See you later.